There are many ways that you could lose a couple $100,000. One would be going to the casino in Las Vegas and putting it all on red. Another way would be going to the nightclub every night and getting expensive tables and bottles. Personally, the way that I've lost over $100,000 in the last year is 1, on a clothing brand that I started for fun, and 2, on a desktop app that is in development and is soon to be launched, but still hasn't made a profit. Now, of course, when I say that, I'm not talking about my personal living expenses such as my rent, food, clothes. I spend quite a lot of money on all those things, but we're talking more specifically about things that you've lost money on, right? You can lose money gambling, you can lose money partying, or you can lose money investing it into a business that will hopefully become something big in the future. And so obviously when I say that I've spent more than $100,000 on my clothing brand and my desktop app, I don't view it as losses. I view it as investments that can hopefully turn into something bigger. Now, the only reason that I even mention this is because the only reason that I can afford to spend that money or invest that money into things that potentially might lose me money is that I have 2 businesses that consistently make me a profit and generate me cash flow no matter what else happens. No matter if all else fails, these 2 businesses are loyal to me and always make sure that I'm taken care of. Now, the first of those businesses requires me to be quite public, right? That's my personal brand. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm recording this video. But the second of those 2 cash flow profitable businesses is one that I can run and operate entirely from the shadows. And it's that same second business that we'll be talking about today. And it's that same second business that you can start yourself and use to make at least $5,000 in the next week. Yeah, you got that right. You can literally start this thing and make $5,000 with it in the next 7 days if you put in the work. So let's jump into it. Now, in case you're new here, welcome. My name is Sander Stage, and I've been doing online business for almost 7 years now. And I made my first million, I'd say almost 5 years ago at this point. Way back then, I moved into my dream apartment, started living my dream life, spent way too much money on jewelry and clothes and all those things. And then since then, I've been traveling around a lot. And I think at a certain point, that lavish lifestyle just starts appealing a little less to you as you get used to it. And so for the last, I'd say 2 years or so, I've been living a more chill life. I say that as I'm living here at the Four Seasons, but I've been living a more chill life, just focusing on the work and taking joy in the work, enjoying the work, essentially. That's what life is all about, right? Now, the point of me saying all this is, well, I've been doing this for a while now, and so I think I can help you on your way to making money online, which, since you've clicked this video, I assume is what you're looking to do. So without any further ado, let's jump into it. Now, when it comes to building a profitable online business in today's world, one that can generate you consistent cash flow that you can count on and depend on and not lose money with, the key is, drum roll, to not do day trading. Jokes aside, please don't do day trading. It's not going to make you rich. It's not, trust me, it's not the solution to your problems. Once we understand that, we usually land on the conclusion that, well, we have to deliver some sort of value to people in order to consistently make money. Makes sense, right? That should make sense. You're not delivering consistent value to people by day trading, and thus you will lose money with it, okay? And so once we come to that conclusion, we usually understand that, well, I should probably start some kind of consulting business or an agency, something where I can deliver a service to people, again, deliver value and get rewarded for that value that I'm delivering. But a common misconception when it comes to starting agencies, service-based businesses, and, well, consulting businesses is that the key to making more money is having fancier outreach methods than everyone else. Let me be the first to tell you, that is not the solution. All of these automated email outreach systems and crazy back-end outreach systems are not going to help you if you don't have a unique value proposition in the first place. What I'm trying to say is, if you're trying to get rich doing something basic or saturated or old-fashioned like copywriting or running an SMA, which used to be a good business model, that's not how you're going to succeed in today's day and age, okay? What you need is, again, something unique, something that the market is starving for, something where you don't have to beg the clients to start working with you, but the clients will start begging you to work with them. That doesn't mean it has to be harder or more difficult or more complicated to do. It just means it needs to be unique. Something that is high in demand or low in supply, or in other words, something the market knows it wants, but just doesn't know where to get or who to ask for. It's really an important point I'm making here, because you could have 2 people that have the same intelligence and are equally hardworking. But, if one of them chooses a better business model with a more unique value proposition, then he's going to make exponentially more money than the person who chooses a basic service in a saturated market. Okay? These are the same 2 people, same intelligence, same work effort, but one makes 10 times more than the other because of the model, the vehicle that he chooses to go with. And that brings me back to my point of why you don't need fancy outreach methods, right? Because once you have a service that essentially sells itself, well, you can be using the most old-fashioned outreach methods, right? Just sending emails or LinkedIn messages, and you'll be signing more clients than you can work with because, again, the service sells itself. So if you've been running some kind of consulting business or agency business business and you've been struggling to sign clients, trust me, it just comes down to your value proposition. It's not good enough. Simple as that. So I guess that brings us to, well, what is that service going to be? My recommendation would be IPGA, right? So it's a business model I started and sort of popularized, but it's still super in demand, right? IPGA means Info Product Growth Agency. Essentially what we do as IPGAs is, well, we partner up with experts that have a skill that we can turn into a impactful online education. And then we help them, well, create an online course around it. And then we help them scale it. And then we take a cut of the profits that this course generates. And by doing this, we're creating good impact in the world, right? Because we're helping spread valuable information and we're making good money in the process. And it's insanely scalable. And furthermore, you can do this while staying in the shadows or without having a huge personal brand. Now, one of the reasons IPGA is so great is it's insanely high leverage. I mean, sure, there's quite a few things that you need to understand in order to run an IPGA. And we'll dive into the specifics of those in just a moment. But once you understand them, again, IPGA is just so high leverage. You see, the clients we work with are usually already making decent money in their existing business. They might be consultants or professionals, or they might just be sports people or have a hobby that is actually profitable and generating them an income, right? They just need more time and freedom. It doesn't really matter what they do. As long as they have a skill, we can partner up with them and turn it into an online education. And so what they want to do is, again, leverage their skill, leverage the information they already have to turn it into something scalable that can make them more money while giving them more freedom. And that's what we help them do. Now, the reason I say it's so high leverage is because our clients never ask us how many hours we spent doing the work. The only thing they care about is the results that we deliver. And usually we can deliver quite amazing results. And so this means that we get a super high profit share. If I'm coaching a client, I can usually deliver value that is worth over $100,000 to them in just a couple hours of consulting. And if I'm working with them one-to-one, like I am with my IPGA clients, then I can literally create $1 million business with them in a couple of weeks of working with them. So again, it's insanely high leverage. And this brings me to the next reason that IPGA is great is that it compounds over time. Look, I'm going to be honest and say the beginning of an IPGA client corporation is usually the most time intensive. Why? Well, it's because that's when we come up with the offer strategy and it's when we help them actually create the course. And it's also when we set up the backend, right? The course hosting, all those things that are required to running the business. But once that's done, we can just scale it. And that's actually the easy part. It might sound like the hard part, but scaling it is usually the easy part if you've come up with a good offer and product together with the client. And so it compounds over time because we might charge a client 10, 20, or 30% profit share, right? But once we've done that with 5 different clients and we've scaled all of those offers, well, if you do the math, we're making quite a lot of money. Like picture you've helped a client create, launch, and scale their course, and now it's doing $50,000 per month, and your profit share is 20%. Well, that means that now you're getting $10,000 in profit share every single month. And imagine you've done that with 3 or 5 clients. Now you're making 30 to 50 grand per month. Now, the third and final reason that I love IPGA and that I think it's so great is that you learn by doing, not the other way around. So before I started my IPGA, I didn't know much about industries or sectors outside of my own. I was in this little bubble. But now that I've had the chance to help so many clients in so many different industries create, launch, and scale courses, well, I've learned so much about so many different sectors and industries. And so, sure, you need some fundamental knowledge to start doing IPGA, and we're going to get into that in just a second. But once you have that, you learn by doing. It's not that you have to take some big university education up front before you can even start doing the work, right? You can learn everything you need to learn literally in a couple of days of studying, and then you're good to go. And the rest, you'll learn as you go. I've had this proven time and time again by some of the biggest clients I've signed. Clients that are working with billion-dollar clients themselves or are running huge corporations. They don't even care that I never finished high school, which is pretty crazy. It wasn't like that in the past, right? If you hadn't finished university, right, let alone high school, you wouldn't be let in anywhere. You wouldn't have any business opportunities. But I'm able to run this and work with industry leaders, not billionaires. I haven't worked with any billionaires as personal clients yet, but at least people that are worth 9 figures and have worked with billion-dollar clients themselves. They're willing to work with me because of my skills, because of what I do. You can't learn this stuff at university. And so you learn the foundations, you sign on clients, and then you learn as you go. And that's why I love IPGA. Anyone can do it. All right, so that's all well and good, but how do we get started with IPGA? Now that we know the vehicle, the business, that model that we're going to be using to make our first 5 grand in the next 7 days, how do we do it? Where do you start? Well, first and foremost, what is it going to take for you to make $5,000 in the next 7 days? Quite simple. Sign one IPGA client that is willing to pay you a setup fee of $5,000. Now, this might seem like a lot if you've never made money online before, but I have countless results that can back up that making this kind of money is, well, quite usual. Like, just to mention a few here, you can just see on our funnel. Jacob, $4,000 upfront. Oliver, $5,000 setup fee. Victor, $4,500 setup fee, $4,000 setup fee again. $7,200 setup fee, let's see, 5,000 euro setup fee. Like these are all great results. I'm just looking specifically for the ones with setup fees. 5K setup fee again here, 3.5K setup fee, 2K setup fee, so that's on the lower end. We literally have hundreds of screenshots like this from our members that have signed clients with like $5,000 setup fees or even more than that. And so I'm not going to spend too much time showing all of those in this video. The point is just, it's possible. It's been proven by hundreds upon hundreds of people that I've taught IPGA that came into it and started it without any prior knowledge, studied the fundamentals, and then just went out, signed their first client, got a 5K upfront payment, and then learned as they went along with the journey and as they went along with the client corporation. So where do we start? All right, step one is you got to learn the essentials. And we're on a 7-day journey here, right? You got to make $5,000 in the next 7 days. And to learn the essentials, I would say you should allocate 3 days. Okay, so day 1, 2, and 3 is going to be spent learning the essentials. So what do you got to learn? Well, let's start by looking at what do our clients actually pay us for as IPGAs, because by knowing that, well, we demystify the value we provide, and thus we demystify the reason that they're willing to pay us so much money. So in one sentence, our value proposition as an IPGA is we help people turn their expertise into impactful and profitable online education, creation, management, scaling. So to expand a little bit on that, essentially we help our clients, 1, build a course vision, foundation, and curriculum. Keep in mind, the client usually has an idea themselves. After all, it's their skills, it's their expertise that we're creating the course around. We're just helping them streamline the vision and the curriculum for it. Then secondly, we guide them on how to actually produce the course. How do they record it? And again, you don't need to be a video creation expert to do this. Most of our clients literally just end up creating their course with a simple screen recorder that they can install on their computer and just record with. It's really a simple setup. And once they're doing this, so once they're preparing the material and recording the course, we set up the backend for them. Okay, so we set up the course hosting, the community hosting, we set up the sales funnel, we set up the backend automation such as email marketing, client onboarding flows, etc., etc. And then once everything is ready, well, we help them launch and scale the course. So that's a simple recap of what we help our clients do. Now let's talk about specifically what you should learn, what you should start learning today on day 1 of this journey in order to actually, well, be able to deliver this service. Number 1 is you want to understand what product and offer strategies are working right now. Is it courses with direct to checkout funnels? Is it coaching with high ticket sales call funnels? Or is it something entirely different? You want to go out, do the research, figure out what kind of funnels are the best people in their different sectors and industries running. What sales funnels are they running? What are their offers looking like? You got to get a broad overview of what the whole sort of space looks like. And this is changing. Like every 3, 6, 9, 12 months, you'll see that the common offers, the common sales funnel structures change quite a lot. And so you always want to stay up to date on what is working the best right now as an IPGA. And then secondly, what you want to understand, which is also incredibly important, is what kind of marketing strategies are working the best at the moment, right? So you understand what kind of offers are working the best, you understand what kind of sales funnels are working the best, and usually this also differs from industry to industry, right? So it's not that one recipe works the best for everyone, but once you got your overview on that, you understand what kind of marketing strategies are going to propel this sales funnel forward. How do we generate traffic to it in the most efficient and profitable manner? There's 2 main ways of generating traffic, right? It's organic marketing and paid marketing. When I first started out with my online courses and consulting the first few people, paid ads were king, right? I was doing like 80 to 90+% of my sales were coming from paid ads. But nowadays, organic is king, and channels like YouTube is basically the easiest way to scale an online course to 100K per month. But again, the marketing strategies that work the best also differ based on what kind of audience your client's course is going to target, right? You might be partnering up with a young expert, and so you got to do marketing that appeals to young people, right? Or you might partner up with sort of a senior expert who's going to be teaching people who have an average age of 40 to 60. And so you want to implement marketing strategies in their funnel that is going to appeal to the 40, 50, and 60-year-old segment, right? Again, it's not one recipe that applies to everyone. And this comes back to my point from earlier, which is you don't have to learn everything up front. You learn as you go and you adapt your knowledge to every single client corporation. So that was step 1, learning the essentials. Again, I think you can spend anywhere from 2 to 3 days on this step. Okay, just get the fundamentals down. And then from there, don't overthink it. You don't need a perfect set of knowledge before you get started. You just need to understand the fundamentals and have a mindset that whatever challenges arise as you start working with your first client, you're going to solve them. You're going to overcome those challenges. You're going to figure out you're going to do whatever it takes to solve those challenges and propel your client's business forward. And so with that, step 2, which is only going to take you 1 day, so this day 4 of your journey, is going to be building your IPGA foundation. And this is a really simple step. It shouldn't take too much time. You really shouldn't overcomplicate it. All you need is a name for your IPGA, okay? Something simple like your last name combined with digital or media or something entirely different. Just don't overthink it. Come up with something simple. And then secondly, this is not necessary, but I strongly recommend it, is to get a IPGA website, right? Like a little funnel for your IPGA where people can come in and book a call with you. For members of our IPGA program, we give them plug and play templates for their IPGA website that they can implement in literally like 2, 3, 4 minutes. But if you're not in there, don't worry. You can use any basic website builder out on the internet, and you can even start an IPGA without a website. Like if you can't afford it or you don't want to spend the time on it, you can get started without one. But again, it's this kind of thing. We're running an online business. Well, we're helping clients create, launch, and scale online courses. And so if we have no online presence, if we don't even have a website for our clients to look at, it seems a little bit weird, right? Because we're helping them create an online business. So I strongly suggest that you get a strong, solid, but simple website up for IPGA that just states your value proposition and has a calendar where prospects can book in a call with you. If you're extroverted or meet a lot of people in real life, I also suggest that you do business cards. Now, this is quite uncommon nowadays. Most online entrepreneurs don't have business cards, but like the IPGA service is just so in demand that you'll meet people like anywhere, maybe in the street, maybe in the sauna, maybe at the gym, maybe in your members club, wherever you go, you'll meet people that need the IPGA service. They have skills and they've been considering turning into an online course. They just don't know where to start and they need help. And so you talk to them about it in the sauna or again at the gym, wherever you meet them. And then you leave them with your business card and say, hey, give me a call if you want to talk further about how I can help you do this essentially, right? So again, it's not necessary, but I strongly suggest that you get a business card. Now, this brings us to step number 3, which is also the final step. And this is where the money is made. This is where we're going to make our first $5,000 in 7 days. Well, actually within 7 days of starting, because technically we've already spent 4 days by now. So step 3 is going to be days 5, 6, and 7. And obviously this is going to be all around client outreach, client acquisition, essentially. Now, as I said at the beginning of the video, to sign IPGA clients, you don't need fancy outreach methods. You don't need to do 1,000 pieces of outreach per day because the service is so in demand. And so I always say this, it's about quality over quantity. It's about finding a good prospect that you really want to work with, doing a little bit of research on them, maybe personalizing a loom or sending out a good message to them, being like, look, I want to catch this client, like a Pokemon. I want to catch this client. I'm going to do whatever it takes to sign this client. It's much better to have this qualitative approach when it comes to signing IPGA clients as opposed to sending out 1,000, AI generated automated emails per day. Okay, that's never going to bring you anywhere with IPGA. It might, but what I've seen work the best for myself and for our members is always qualitative and focused outreach that focus specifically on the people that you want to work with. Again, all it takes to make $5,000 is one yes, like literally getting one yes from one client that wants to work with you. And then they'll pay you $5,000 up front, just like so many of our members have done that you just saw before. It's quite common. Like, I know it sounds high if you've never made money online before, but it's a pretty common number in our circles. Now, just to go a little bit more in depth with IPGA client acquisition and how we can sign our first client in a couple of days of doing outreach, I've prepared this little doc for you, okay? So step 1 is just going to be your network, okay? Reach out to any prospect in your personal network with a short and informal message. Some of you may know 100 people, like personally. Some of you may not have that big of a personal network. It doesn't matter. Whoever's in your personal network, just reach out to them. Maybe you'll sign your first client like that. Maybe you won't. If you don't, it's okay. Okay. And that leads us to step 2, which is speaking about your IPGA to everyone that you meet in real life, friends, family, and network as well. Okay. So as I said earlier, so many professionals need this. And if you let enough people know that you can help, someone will eventually meet somebody that needs your help. And again, that's why you should always have a business card on you if you ever go out and about. Whenever I do our weekly group calls inside of the IPGA Masterclass, some people have signed their first client through LinkedIn, but so often it happens that somebody has just signed their first client, again, meeting somebody in the street, or maybe it was a friend of the family or a friend of their parents or a friend of their uncle. Like, it happens so often that people sign their first client through their personal network. Like, it might not even be someone that they know, but it might be someone they know. That sounded really complicated, but you get the point. It happens at least, I'd say 40 to 50% of the time that people sign their first client in that way. And then the other 50% or the other half of the time, they'll sign their first client by doing sort of social media outreach through a channel like LinkedIn, which we'll get into now, okay? So that leads us to social media, okay? Make sure that you have prepared your foundation. By that, I mean, have a good bio, okay? You can customize it to your liking for various platforms like Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and X. Just something simple, okay? I help people turn their skills into profitable online education. Send a message, let's talk. You can customize this to look however you want. Just make sure that whatever social media profile you have your IPGA service and value proposition clearly stated in the bio, okay? If you've never done online business before, you might not understand how the mechanics work. Like anyone who launches their first sales funnel, for example, if it's for a course, they're so surprised when the first sale comes in from somebody that they don't even know in real life, right? The same thing can happen with your social media profile, even if you only have like 50 followers or a couple hundred followers. Before you know it, somebody will stumble across your profile, they'll see your value proposition, and they'll want to work with you. So just make sure you have your value proposition clearly stated everywhere. And here's a bonus for people that are actually members of our IPGA Masterclass, which is made by my mother company, Coed. You can add yourself as a Coed graduate / alumni under your education on LinkedIn. Okay, so you can just, literally this is from my this is from my LinkedIn profile, right? So activities and societies, digital marketing, creation and management of online education and business. So you can see here from my LinkedIn profile, specialized in turning professionals' expertise into impactful and profitable online education, skilled in every aspect of the online education industry, blah, blah, blah. So I have this sort of official Coed certification and education on my LinkedIn profile. And if you're a member of the IPGA Masterclass, you can do this as well because, IPGA is by Coed, which is my company, and we're sort of leaders in this, okay? So there's just a little bit of authority that you can add to your profile if you want, but again, it's not necessary. And then here's a good text that you can customize and post onto all of your social media. Okay, so I'm just gonna open this up. So by the way, I'm gonna link this sheet below this video so you can open it up and you can also open up this text inside of it, okay? So, dear friends, family, and network, have you or anyone you know ever considered creating an online course? Then read this. I've spent the last period studying everything there is to know about creating and scaling online courses. This means that I can now help you with creating an online course from scratch, building and managing all backend process for you, including course hosting, sales funnel, backend automation, and so much more. Finally, I can help you market and scale this course to make sure it generates a high and consistent profit, giving you more time and freedom. So again, if you or anyone you know have been looking to create an impactful, profitable, and scalable online course / education, then look no further. I'm ready to put in the work. I'd love to talk if you're interested, and then you leave your CTA, okay? Maybe you want them to send you a private message, or if you've created a IPGA website by now, you can also link that so they can book in a call directly through your IPGA website. Once you've posted this, right, if you have an Instagram profile, a LinkedIn profile, a Twitter profile, or X as it's called now, you can just post it anywhere. Again, maybe it will lead to a client, just like networking will, and maybe it won't. But if you don't sign your first client doing this, well, it leads us to step 3, which is lead sourcing or manual outreach on social media. Okay, again, only half of our members or so sign their first client through their network and making a social media post. And the other half, well, they do it by doing they get their first client by doing manual outreach, okay? And so of these, well, LinkedIn is my favorite, so that's the one we're gonna start with. Literally just go on your LinkedIn and go to the suggested connections tab. It will usually suggest people that are in your local area that you have mutual connections with, and just connect with like 25 to 50 plus suggested contacts every day. And then once people start accepting your connection request, just look through each of them and see which ones could be relevant to create an online course with, right? Look for people with skills that could be interesting to create an online course on, and then reach out to them by sending them a personal message. Again, when it comes to signing clients this way, it's quality over quantity. You don't have to send 200 messages per day. Instead, I'd say send 10 or 20 qualitative messages that are actually personalized to the person you're reaching out to. Be like, these are people I really want to work with, so I'm going to do the research required to do a good outreach method that actually applies to them and talks about their personal situation, and I'm going to really try to sign them. You also have obviously other social media such as Instagram, X, all the other ones, right? Even TikTok. I don't think you're going to sign your first IPGA client on TikTok. But anyway, always be on the lookout for people with a monetizable skill and DM them when you find them, okay? A common mistake is only targeting people that have large followings, right? So people will be like, oh, this is only going to be feasible if I sign somebody that already has 100,000 followers. And it's a really common mistake because sure, if you launch a course with somebody that has 100,000 followers, it might be easy to make like a lot of money up front, but after that you might get stuck. And furthermore, you won't have as much authority and leverage in that corporation because they've already built their audience before they started working with you. And so they're likely not going to be willing to give you a very high profit share. And so as I've written here, you got to think a little bit more long-term about it. You're building an actual business with someone together, not just tapping into their already existing business or audience. Okay. You're creating this from scratch. And that's why you merit a high profit share that you will get forever. Okay. It's not just that you get a profit share for 3, 6, or 9 months. You get this profit share on the course sales forever. Finally, we have forums such as Facebook groups. Okay. So just brainstorm skills or sectors or themes where you could help people create and scale a course, and then join Facebook groups related to that industry or theme and find experts inside. Okay. It could be anything like business and sports, but it could also, like, you could also think about niches such as ADHD or problems that people are dealing with. Okay. Someone that I know was diagnosed with ADHD and got really helpful advice inside of a Facebook group. Okay. And so there's also Facebook group for single mothers, single fathers, wine experts, whatever you're looking for. There are Facebook groups that talk about that topic and that literally have hundreds or thousands of members. And so if you want to find an expert on a specific topic that you can work with, so a good place to start would be, well, going to a Facebook group and looking through the posts, and maybe you'll find an expert that has made a post that has gotten like 100 likes from the other members, and people have commented like, this was super helpful, thank you. That's probably a sign this is an expert that likes helping people. And so this would be an ideal person to reach out to in order to create an online course that you can scale together. I'll also leave a link to a sort of text template that you can use for your private outreach. Like if you want to do DMs for these people, you can check that out for yourself if you want. But again, just make sure that you customize it and make it personal to each person that you're reaching out to. Okay. Now, I know that this is easier said than done, but this is literally what it takes to make $5,000 in the next 7 days. You learn the fundamentals, you build a foundation for IPGA, and you do whatever it takes to sign a client that will pay you $5,000 upfront as a setup fee. Again, it's easier said than done, but I've seen it happen countless times. People joining, studying through, and then doing the outreach and getting a $5,000 upfront setup fee payment. Like, if I hadn't seen this happen, then maybe you wouldn't believe it because I didn't have any proof to back it up. But I've showed you quite a few screenshots. We have hundreds of screenshots like this. Also, my funnel, there's literally a video where I go through more screenshots of members that have achieved similar results. It happens all the time. So, like, if you don't think it's possible, maybe you have some kind of imposter syndrome, or maybe you just don't believe in yourself, but trust me, it's possible. Just put in the work. Like, trust me, you'll thank yourself later. Finally, and this is sort of unrelated to this video because this video is just specifically about how to make your first 5K, but after that comes the scaling phase, and that's when you scale your IPGA to 10, 20, or 30 plus K per month. Okay. And then you do that by sort of signing 3 to 5 clients, scaling all of their offers separately, and then again, getting a 10, 20, or 30% profit share on each of their offers. I've seen people start an IPGA, sign on their first client, launch the offer, and then make over $50,000 in profit share within a month of starting. Okay. So like if you dedicate yourself to this, if you put in the work, I don't want to say there's no limit to how much money you can make with it, because I don't think you're going to make your first $100 million with this, but you can definitely make your first $100,000 with this. You can even make your first $1 million with this. Okay. And you can live a good life of location freedom, essentially, and just choosing when you want to work. Building the skills that are required to run an IPGA will put you ahead of everyone else. And this is one of the reasons, again, that I love IPGA so much, is because as an IPGA, your skill set that you develop and your value proposition is one of the most valuable skill sets and value propositions that anyone can have in today's day and age. Anyway, I hope that you'll consider starting an IPGA. If not, it's up to you. Okay. Have a good day, and I'll see you in the next video.